From poorly done steak to outdated menus, these steak places often left a lot to be desired from customers, so it's not hard to guess why they couldn't stand the test of time. Today, we'll be taking a look back on them. It doesn't matter if you grew up visiting these steakhouses or you're just hearing of them for the first time. Why don't you join us as we take a deep dive into 20 of the worst steakhouses from the 70s and 80s that faded into history. 1. Mr. Steak.
I have to. Hey, my best customer is Mr. Steak. Now, those guys are picky about everything. That's why Mr. Steak is my kind of family restaurant.
Mr. Steak was founded in Colorado in 1962 by James A. Mather. It quickly grew into a popular steakhouse chain known for offering affordable, quality steaks in a casual, family-friendly environment. During its peak in the 70s and early 80s, Mr. Steak expanded rapidly, reaching over 200 locations across the United States. The restaurant's appeal lay in its simplicity. Customers could enjoy a well-prepared steak without the pretentiousness or price tags of fine dining steakhouses. Mr. Steak's menu featured a range of beef cuts, including T-bones, sirloins, and filet mignon, served with standard sides like baked potatoes and salads. While the quality wasn't exceptional, the reasonable prices made it a favorite for middle-class families seeking a night out. Unfortunately, as the steakhouse industry became more competitive in the 80s, Mr. Steak struggled to keep pace with evolving consumer preferences. The rise of fast casual dining and competition from chains like Outback Steakhouse and Longhorn Steakhouse pushed Mr. Steak into decline. By the late 80s, Mr. Steak was facing financial troubles, and many of its locations were forced to close. Attempts to rebrand as Mr. Steak Seafood and Salad didn't resonate with customers, and the chain eventually faded into obscurity. Today, Mr. Steak is a distant memory, a relic of an era when simple steak dinners dominated the American throughout dining scene. Mr. Steak's ultimately failed because it couldn't keep up with the times, much like the next steakhouse chain on the list. 2. Steak and Ale.
Unmistakably hot, unmistakably cool.
Founded in 1966 by restaurateur Norman Brinker, Steak and Ale quickly became a revolutionary player in the casual dining market. Combining a refined yet approachable atmosphere with affordable prices, Steak and Ale introduced millions of Americans to the concept of casual fine dining. The restaurant's Tudor-style decor, dim lighting, and dark wood interiors created a cozy, upscale environment that made it feel like a special night out without the hefty price tag. At its height, Steak and Ale offered an extensive menu of steak cuts, including prime rib, ribeye, and sirloin, paired with a signature salad bar, a novel feature at the time. The salad bar became one of the restaurant's trademarks, allowing guests to craft their own salads, adding to the sense of customization and value. The chain expanded rapidly during the 70s, with over 100 locations nationwide. However, by the late 80s, Steak and Ale began to lose ground. The rise of newer competitors offering similar dining experiences and changing consumer tastes spelled trouble. In addition, the company was passed between several owners, including Pillsbury and Metromedia, which led to inconsistent management and brand dilution. By the early 2000s, Steak and Ale was struggling, and in 2008, the chain declared bankruptcy and closed its remaining locations. Steak and Ale remains a nostalgic memory for those who remember its innovative approach to dining. Speaking of steakhouse chains that experienced rapid expansion only to fall from grace, our next steakhouse followed a very similar trajectory. 3. Sizzler.
Sizzler brings the choices that you've been looking for.
Sizzler, founded in 1958 by Del and Helen Johnson in Culver City, California, was one of the earliest chain steakhouses in the United States. Known for its affordable prices and relaxed atmosphere, Sizzler gained popularity in the 70s and 80s for offering steak, seafood, and an all-you-can-eat salad bar. Sizzler's concept appealed to budget-conscious diners who wanted a full meal without breaking the bank. During its heyday, Sizzler's locations were dotted across the country, offering a menu that included sirloin, ribeye, and T-bone steaks, along with shrimp, chicken, and a variety of side dishes. The addition of the salad bar gave the restaurant a competitive edge, as it allowed customers to load up on soups, salads, and desserts at a low cost. It became a family favorite and a go-to spot for casual dining. However, by the mid-90s, Sizzler's fortunes began to fade. The chain suffered from poor management, inconsistent food quality, and stiff competition from newer, more modern steakhouse chains like Outback Steakhouse and Texas Roadhouse. In 1996, Sizzler filed filed for bankruptcy and closed many of its locations. Although the chain still operates in some regions, it never fully regained its former glory, and for many, Sizzler's prime was left behind in the 80s. Much like Sizzler, our next steakhouse also thrived during the same era, but found itself grappling with the same challenges that ultimately led to its decline. 4. Western Sizzlin' Steakhouse.
Western Sizzlin' steaks are high quality, all hand-cut, seasoned, and grilled to perfection.
Western Sizzlin' Steakhouse was founded in Augusta, Georgia in 1962 by Nicholas Pascarella. Known for its affordable, hearty meals, Western Sizzlin' aimed to bring steak dinners to the masses without the premium price tag. Pascarella's concept was simple: offer great-tasting steaks cooked on a unique flame grill system that gave the meat a distinct flavor and texture. This affordable yet satisfying approach to steak dinners made Western Sizzlin' a popular choice for middle-class families in the 70s and 80s. The menu was straightforward, featuring a variety of steaks, burgers, and other grill items, paired with a salad bar and a range of sides. The restaurant's signature item was the flame-kissed steak, a cut of beef that was seared over high heat to create a flavorful, charred crust. It became a favorite among diners who appreciated the bold flavor and tender texture. Despite its popularity, Western Sizzlin' faced growing competition from newer steakhouse chains and fast, casual dining options. The company also struggled with maintaining consistency across its franchised locations, leading to a decline in customer satisfaction. By the late 80s, many locations had closed or rebranded under different names. Though a few independent Western Sizzlin' restaurants still exist, the chain's influence has largely faded, making it a nostalgic memory for steak lovers of the past. Like Western Sizzlin', our next steakhouse also offered a casual dining experience, but its outdated menus would ultimately lead to its downfall. 5. Ponderosa Steakhouse.
Mr. and Mrs. Gilbert Fletcher, their first Ponderosa and just in time.
Ponderosa Steakhouse, named after the ranch from the popular TV show Bonanza, was founded in 1965 by Dan Lassiter and Norm Weiss. Ponderosa became a popular destination for budget-conscious families seeking an affordable steak dinner in a casual, Western-themed environment. The chain offered a range of steaks, from ribeye to sirloin, along with an all-you-can-eat buffet that included salads, soups, desserts, and side dishes. In the 70s and 80s, Ponderosa expanded rapidly, boasting hundreds of locations across the U.S. Its success was fueled by its appeal to middle-class families looking for a reliable, low-cost dining experience. The combination of affordable steaks and buffet-style dining made Ponderosa a family favorite, especially in suburban areas. However, by the late 80s, Ponderosa faced significant challenges. The rise of newer, more innovative steakhouse chains like Outback Steakhouse and Texas Roadhouse attracted customers away from Ponderosa's dated concept. Additionally, Ponderosa struggled to maintain consistency in food quality and service, leading to a decline in customer satisfaction. Mergers with Bonanza Steakhouse and changing management further complicated matters, and by the 90s, many Ponderosa locations had closed or rebranded. While some locations still operate today, Ponderosa's heyday as a dominant player in the steakhouse industry is long gone. Buffet-style service also spelled trouble for our next steakhouse, another chain that found its service model losing appeal as dining preferences evolved. 6. Rustler Steakhouse.
On the trail working up a big steak hunger. Right, boys? Right, boys?
Rustler Steakhouse was a popular chain in the 70s and early 80s, offering an affordable, no-frills dining experience for steak lovers. Founded in 1963 by Gino Pellegrini, Rustler quickly expanded, appealing to working-class families who wanted a hearty steak meal without the steep price tag. The restaurants had a Western theme, complete with rustic decor, which enhanced its appeal to customers looking for a casual dining experience. Rustler's straightforward menu featured various cuts of steak, often served with sides like baked potatoes, rolls, and access to a salad bar. At its height, Rustler operated nearly 150 locations across the United States, especially in the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic regions. The restaurant's model of affordable meals and quick service made it a favorite among families and budget-conscious diners. However, like many of its competitors, Rustler faced increased competition from other steakhouse chains, particularly in the 80s, when more modern, higher-quality steakhouses like Outback Steakhouse and Lone Star Steakhouse began to dominate the the market. In 1983, the Marriott Corporation bought Rustler, merging it with other steakhouse chains, which ultimately led to its decline. Rustler could not keep up with changing consumer tastes and eventually closed most of its locations by the late 80s. Today, Rustler Steakhouse remains a nostalgic memory for those who enjoyed its unpretentious approach to steak dining. While Rustler catered to budget-conscious diners, our next steakhouse offered a much grander dining experience, but it, too, couldn't escape the changing tides of the restaurant industry. 7. Hilltop Steakhouse. Hilltop Steakhouse, founded in 1961 by Frank Giuffrida in Saugus, Massachusetts, became a New England icon throughout the 60s, 70s, and 80s. Known for its massive neon cactus sign and Western-themed decor, Hilltop attracted visitors from all over the region. The restaurant was renowned for serving large portions of affordable steaks, seafood, and prime rib in a casual, family-friendly setting. At its peak, Hilltop was one of the busiest steakhouses in the United States, seating over 1,000 guests and serving an estimated 2 million customers annually. One of Hilltop's key selling points was its on-site butcher shop, where customers could purchase high-quality cuts of beef to take home. The restaurant became synonymous with traditional steakhouse fare, offering a variety of steak cuts, including porterhouse, ribeye, and filet mignon, served with sides like baked potatoes and rolls. For many, Hilltop was more than just a meal. It was a destination. Despite its initial success, Hilltop began to decline in the late 80s and 90s. The rise of more contemporary dining options, coupled with challenges in maintaining consistent service and quality, contributed to its downturn. Although it held on until 2013, Hilltop eventually closed its doors, marking the end of an era for steak lovers in New England. Interestingly, Walgreens also attempted to make its mark in the steakhouse business during this era with Wags, but it turned out to be yet another restaurant chain that struggled to stay afloat. 8. Wags.
If you want a great Oriental dinner, just follow the experts to America's family restaurant, Wags.
Wags was a short-lived but memorable steakhouse chain that operated in the 70s and early 80s. A part of the Walgreens restaurant division, Wags was a combination steakhouse and diner, offering affordable meals to families across the United States. Wags was unique in that it offered steak dinners along with an expansive menu of American comfort foods like burgers, pancakes, and sandwiches, making it a popular choice for diners seeking variety. Wags locations were typically found near Walgreens pharmacies, which helped drive foot traffic. Its menu featured affordable steak options such as sirloin and ribeye, served with sides like mashed potatoes, salads, and dinner rolls. Wags's casual, diner-like atmosphere made it accessible to a broad audience, especially families and budget-conscious diners. Despite its initial success, Wags struggled to compete with more established steakhouse chains and fast food restaurants in the 80s. Additionally, the decision by Walgreens to focus on its core pharmacy business led to the closure of many Wags locations by the mid-80s. Although it never reached the heights of other chains, Wags is fondly remembered by those who frequented its locations during its brief run, offering a mix of steaks and diner favorites that appealed to a diverse crowd. While Wags may have been short-lived, our next steakhouse had a much longer run, but it eventually fell victim to similar problems. 9. Valle's Steakhouse.
Come on and taste a real good time at Valley's.
Valle's Steakhouse, founded by Donald Valle in Portland, Maine in 1933, was once one of the most prominent steakhouse chains in New England. Known for its grand banquet-style dining rooms and upscale yet affordable steak offerings, Valle's became a beloved regional favorite throughout the 60s, 70s, and early 80s. The restaurant's signature dish was its famous prime rib, served in generous portions with a range of sides like baked potatoes, coleslaw, and rolls. At its height, Valle's operated 30 locations across the northeastern United States, making it one of the largest steakhouse chains in the country. Valle's success was built on its ability to offer high-quality steaks at prices that appealed to middle-class families. The restaurant's banquet-style seating made it a popular choice for large gatherings and special occasions, and its consistent quality kept customers coming back. However, by the 80s, Valle's began to face challenges. Increased competition from newer steakhouse chains like Outback Steakhouse and Longhorn Steakhouse, coupled with rising operating costs, made it difficult for Valle's to maintain its dominance. The restaurant also struggled to modernize its menu and decor, which led to a decline in customer interest. By the late 80s, most Valle's locations had closed, and the chain faded into history, leaving behind fond memories for New England steak lovers. Much like Valle's, our next iconic steakhouse also rose quickly in popularity, but eventually fell out of favor as dining trends shifted. 10. New York Steakhouse.
Looking for a great lunch at a great price? Well, York has lots of them.
York Steakhouse was a popular cafeteria-style steakhouse chain that operated throughout the 60s, 70s, and early 80s. Founded in 1966, the restaurant became known for its simple, no-frills approach to steak dining, offering customers affordable meals in a casual, cafeteria-like setting. York's menu featured a range of steak options, including ribeye, sirloin, and filet, paired with sides like baked potatoes, vegetables, and a salad bar. The chain was particularly popular in the Midwest and New England, where its budget-friendly prices and family-friendly atmosphere made it a go-to spot for steak lovers. York Steakhouse's cafeteria-style service allowed customers to choose their meals from a buffet line, giving them control over portion sizes and meal choices. This model was ideal for families and large groups looking for an affordable dining experience. However, as competition in the steakhouse industry grew in the 80s, York Steakhouse struggled to keep up. The rise of more contemporary steakhouses offering table service and more sophisticated menus made York's cafeteria-style dining feel outdated. Additionally, the chain's reliance on low prices made it difficult to compete with newer restaurants offering better food quality. By the late 80s, most York Steakhouse locations had closed, and the chain faded into obscurity, remembered fondly by those who appreciated its simple, affordable approach to dining. As we move from Valleys, our next stop is at New York, and one of its most iconic steakhouses of the time, 11 Beefsteak Charlie's.
I'm Beefsteak Charlie, and I'm warning you, my free shrimp and salad bar could ruin your appetite.
Beefsteak Charlie's was a New York City-based steakhouse chain that gained popularity in the 70s and 80s, known for its all-you-can-eat salad bar and unlimited shrimp promotion. The restaurant had a comfortable, no-frills atmosphere that appealed to families and individuals looking for an affordable steak dinner in a bustling city. Beefsteak Charlie's roots trace back to the 1910s, but it was during the 70s when the chain expanded significantly and became a household name across the northeastern United States. Beefsteak Charlie's offered a selection of steaks, seafood, and chicken dishes, with the real draw being the endless servings of shrimp and the salad bar, which came with any entree. The menu was designed to offer value, allowing customers to indulge without worrying about portion sizes or extra costs. The unlimited beverage service, including beer and sangria, was another enticing feature. By the mid-80s, the chain had expanded to over 60 locations. However, the company's rapid growth eventually led to financial instability. It struggled to maintain consistent quality, and the rise of competitors offering similar all-you-can-eat deals, as well as higher-end steakhouse chains, led to Beefsteak Charlie's decline. By the early 90s, most locations had shuttered, marking the end of an era for the iconic chain. As Beefsteak Charlie's began to fade, another chain known for its generous portions was already facing its own set of challenges. 12 Steak and Brew. Steak and Brew was a popular steakhouse chain that offered a unique concept, affordable steaks paired with unlimited beer and wine. Founded in 1966 by restaurateur Howard Johnson, the restaurant aimed to bring a casual yet indulgent dining experience to the masses. The chain expanded rapidly throughout the late 60s and 70s, with locations primarily in the Northeast. The menu featured various steak cuts served with sides like baked potatoes and access to a salad bar, but the real draw was the unlimited beer and wine that came with every meal. Steak and Brew's casual, tavern-like atmosphere and budget-friendly pricing made it a hit among young adults and families alike. The all-you-can-drink promotion was especially popular, contributing to the chain's early success. The restaurant's model was simple: offer good food at affordable prices, paired with an abundance of beverages, ensuring customers left satisfied. However, by the late 70s, the restaurant faced financial troubles. Rising costs, management issues, and changes in liquor laws made it difficult for Steak and Brew to maintain its business model. Additionally, competition from more modern steakhouses and other casual dining chains led to its decline. By the early 80s, Steak and Brew had largely disappeared from the restaurant scene, leaving behind fond memories for those who enjoyed its unique approach to steak dining. Next restaurant on the list is another steakhouse that entered the scene with a bold new approach, but would ultimately fizzle out. 13 Lone Star Steakhouse.
I'm Chuck E. Waddy, proprietors of the Lone Star Steakhouse and Saloon. Our expert marketing team tells us that folks will knock our doors down if we tell them what else we got besides mesquite grilled steaks and ice cold beer. Tell them, Waddy.
Lone Star Steakhouse, founded in 1989 by Jamie Coulter, may not be as ancient as some of the other steakhouses on this list, but its impact on the 90s dining scene was significant. Known for its Texas-themed atmosphere and hearty portions of steak and BBQ, Lone Star catered to customers who craved the rustic charm of a cowboy's steakhouse. With peanut shells scattered on the floor and a casual, rowdy environment, Lone Star became an instant favorite in the early 90s. Its menu was heavy on red meat, offering various steak cuts like ribeye, sirloin, and filet mignon, alongside BBQ ribs, chicken, and seafood. The restaurant capitalized on the trend of Texas-style steakhouses, and its no-frills dining experience appealed to those who wanted a filling meal without the stuffiness of traditional fine dining. By the mid-90s, Lone Star had over 200 locations, but by the early 2000s, the chain began to decline. Increased competition from more polished casual dining restaurants and issues with maintaining consistency across its locations led to its downfall. Many Lone Star locations closed throughout the 2000s and 2010s, with the remaining few converting to other brands. Lone Star's brief reign in the steakhouse world is now just a memory, but it was once a staple of the Texas-style dining craze. Much like Lone Star, our next restaurant was yet another chain trying to keep its footing amidst an increasingly competitive market. 14 Black Angus Steakhouse.
I'm Stuart Anderson. For a great steak at a great price, ranching experience gives my Black Angus restaurant the edge. It's a steak worth going for.
Black Angus Steakhouse, founded in 1964 by Stuart Anderson in Seattle, Washington, was a mid-tier steakhouse chain known for its Western-themed decor and affordable steak dinners. The chain expanded rapidly throughout the 70s and 80s, becoming a popular choice for families and casual diners. The restaurant's rustic ranch-style ambience set the tone for a casual yet hearty dining experience that emphasized generous portions of steak, prime rib, and other classic American dishes. One of Black Angus's key features was its steakhouse salad bar, where customers could enjoy an all-you-can-eat buffet of fresh salads, soups, and sides to accompany their meals. The chain's moderately priced menu and approachable atmosphere made it a hit with middle-class diners looking for a quality steak without the high-end price tag. Although Black Angus experienced significant growth during the 70s and 80s, by the 90s, the restaurant began to face challenges. Increased competition from newer, more contemporary steakhouse chains and casual dining establishments eroded its market share. The chain filed for bankruptcy multiple times in the early 2000s and closed many of its locations. While a few Black Angus locations still exist today, its dominance in the steakhouse market has largely faded, leaving behind memories of hearty meals in a cowboy-themed setting. Our next steakhouse was another one of many that couldn't keep up with the changing tastes of American diners. 15 Sirloin Stockade.
Challenges are Grand Junction. Here at Sirloin Stockade, we're not afraid to say we have the best meal deal in town for your dollar.
Sirloin Stockade, founded in 1966 in Oklahoma City, was a family-friendly buffet-style steakhouse that became popular in the Midwest and southern United States. The chain offered an extensive menu of steak, chicken, seafood, and a variety of sides, all served in an all-you-can-eat buffet format. Sirloin Stockade's combination of affordability and variety made it a favorite among families and large groups, particularly in small towns and suburban areas. The restaurant's rustic Western-themed decor and focus on hearty home-cooked meals helped it stand out in a crowded market. Sirloin Stockade prided itself on offering quality steaks at reasonable prices, making it an accessible option for budget-conscious diners. In addition to its buffet offerings, the chain also had a butcher shop where customers could purchase steaks to take home. However, by the late 80s and 90s, Sirloin Stockade faced increasing competition from other buffet chains like Golden Corral and newer, more modern steakhouses. The chain also struggled with inconsistent quality across its locations, which led to a decline in customer satisfaction. Many Sirloin Stockade locations closed throughout the 90s and early 2000s, and while a few franchises still operate today, the chain's prominence has faded significantly from its heyday in the 1970s and 80s. Similar to Sirloin Stockade, our next steakhouse tried to carve out its own space in the fine dining sector, but faced similar challenges. 16. Mountain Jack's Steakhouse.
Dishes like our Blue Ridge baby back ribs to longtime favorites like our award-winning prime rib. We're making Mountain Jack's the place to go when you want to get off the beaten path.
Mountain Jack's Steakhouse was a prominent player in the 70s and 80s steakhouse scene, known for its cozy, lodge-like atmosphere and tableside service. Founded in 1979, Mountain Jack's set itself apart with its prime rib and steak-centric menu, where the steaks were cooked to perfection and served with flair. The restaurant also prided itself on its tableside salad bar, where servers would prepare salads for guests right at the table, adding a touch of personalization to the dining experience. Mountain Jack's menu featured a wide variety of steak cuts, including filet mignon, New York strip, and ribeye, alongside seafood dishes like lobster tail. It was a mid-tier steakhouse that attracted both families and couples seeking a more refined, yet still approachable, dining experience. The rustic decor, with exposed wooden beams and stone accents, gave diners the feeling of being in a mountain lodge, which only added to its charm. Despite its initial success, Mountain Jack's began to face challenges in the 90s. The rise of more affordable, casual dining chains, coupled with changing consumer preferences for quicker, more modern dining experiences, led to a decline in business. By the early 2000s, most Mountain Jack's locations had closed or were rebranded under different names. While the restaurant is no longer around, it remains a fond memory for those who enjoyed its hearty, tableside steak dinners. Our next restaurant was another chain that tried to deliver a unique dining experience, but eventually succumbed to changing trends. 17. The Red Bull Inn. The Red Bull Inn was a regional steakhouse chain that rose to prominence in the 70s, especially in Pennsylvania and surrounding states. Known for its distinctive Tudor-style architecture and traditional steakhouse menu, the Red Bull Inn offered a relaxed, comfortable dining environment with a focus on hearty meals and friendly service. The restaurant was particularly known for its prime rib, served with baked potatoes and classic sides like creamed spinach and sautéed mushrooms. The Red Bull Inn also attracted diners with its all-you-can-eat salad bar, which was a major draw during the 70s and 80s, when salad bars were becoming a staple in casual dining establishments. The restaurant's decor, with its dark wood accents and old-world charm, made it a cozy place for families and couples to enjoy a leisurely meal. It was a popular spot for Sunday dinners and special occasions, offering both affordability and a touch of elegance. However, as the 80s came to a close, the Red Bull Inn faced increasing competition from other casual dining chains that offered more contemporary menus and modernized interiors. The chain struggled to keep up with changing trends in the restaurant industry, and by the 90s, most of its locations had closed. Despite its disappearance, the Red Bull Inn is remembered for its warm atmosphere and hearty, classic steakhouse fare. Similar to how Red Bull Inn struggled to survive, our next steakhouse also found itself battling to stay relevant in a shifting market. 18. Prime Rib Inn. Prime Rib Inn was a fine dining steakhouse that built its reputation on one simple yet beloved dish, prime rib. Founded in the 60s, Prime Rib Inn became a popular destination for steak lovers who sought quality cuts of beef in an upscale setting. The restaurant offered a luxurious dining experience with its dark wood paneling, plush seating, and attentive service, catering primarily to those looking for a special night out. The star of the menu, of course, was the prime rib, served in generous portions alongside traditional sides like Yorkshire pudding, creamed spinach, and mashed potatoes. While Prime Rib Inn was not a massive chain like some of the other steakhouses on this list, it had a loyal following, particularly in cities like Chicago and New York. The restaurant's commitment to quality, combined with its elegant old-school atmosphere, made it a favorite for anniversary dinners, business meetings, and celebrations. However, as the dining scene evolved in the 80s and 90s, with the rise of more diverse and eclectic restaurant options, Prime Rib Inn struggled to maintain its customer base. The fine dining steakhouse model became less popular as casual dining and fast casual concepts took hold. By the early 2000s, most Prime Rib Inn locations had closed, but for many, it remains a symbol of a bygone era when a perfectly cooked prime rib was the pinnacle of dining out. Our next steakhouse added a twist to the traditional steakhouse model, but met a similar fate as the others on this list. 19. Scotch and Sirloin.
Scotch and Sirloin has been Amherst, New York's favorite restaurant. We offer the perfect dining experience for all your needs, including date night, family dinner, or drinks with friends.
Scotch and Sirloin was a beloved steakhouse chain that started in the 60s and gained significant popularity in the 70s and 80s. As its name suggests, the restaurant specialized in two things, steak and scotch, making it a favorite among meat lovers and whiskey connoisseurs. The decor of Scotch and Sirloin was upscale but inviting, featuring featuring dark wood, dim lighting, and leather booths, which gave it a sophisticated yet cozy vibe. The menu boasted an array of steak options, from filet mignon to sirloin, often paired with baked potatoes and classic steakhouse sides. Scotch and sirloin also featured an extensive bar with a focus on whiskey, including a wide variety of Scotch labels. This pairing of premium steak with high-quality spirits gave the restaurant a distinctive niche in the crowded steakhouse market of the time. The restaurant attracted both casual diners and those looking for a special night out, offering a more refined dining experience compared to some of the more casual steakhouse chains. Despite its strong following, Scotch and sirloin began to decline in the 90s, partly due to competition from newer steakhouse chains and changes in consumer preferences. Many locations struggled to keep up with rising costs, and the chain eventually faded from the restaurant scene. Today, a few locations still operate independently, but the chain's glory days are long gone, remembered fondly by those who once dined there. Finally, we arrive at our last ill-fated steakhouse, a chain that, despite its widespread success in the 70s, was unable to weather the changes in the industry. Hungry Tiger Steakhouse.
Hungry Tiger is the most popular steakhouse in Yokohama.
That made its mark in the 70s and 80s. Originally based in Southern California, Hungry Tiger was known for offering quality steak and seafood dishes at reasonable prices, which made it a favorite for families and casual diners. The restaurant's rustic decor, complete with tiger motifs and wood-paneled walls, added to its charm, creating an atmosphere that felt both fun and relaxed. Hungry Tiger's menu featured a wide variety of steak options, including ribeye, sirloin, and filet mignon, often served with sides like garlic bread, baked potatoes, and steamed vegetables. The restaurant also had a strong seafood offering, with dishes like grilled shrimp and lobster tail. One of its signature items was the surf and turf combo, which allowed diners to enjoy the best of both worlds. Hungry Tiger expanded rapidly during the 70s, with dozens of locations throughout California and beyond. However, by the 90s, the restaurant faced significant challenges. Increased competition from other casual dining chains and rising costs made it difficult for Hungry Tiger to maintain its foothold in the market. The chain slowly began to close locations, and by the early 2000s, Hungry Tiger had largely faded from the restaurant scene. Today, it's remembered for its hearty steak and seafood offerings and its unique tiger-themed decor. And that's all for this video. Which steakhouses from the list do you remember from your childhood? Which ones do you think we should have talked about? Tell us in the comments. And don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell for more nostalgic food journeys. Until next time.